Go to makeship.com today by clicking the link in the upper right corner, the description, or the pinned comment to get your Wily today, because this is a limited time offer. Throughout history, there have been multiple games that influenced the industry as a whole, and so things completely changed. One of those was Super Mario 64. It set the standards for 3D platformers just like the older games did for the 2D ones. In so many ways, it was revolutionary, and after Super Mario World was such a hit, everyone was excited to play the game. But in the end, even though it was very good, it was lacking in certain ways. One thing people wanted was Yoshi, and while he was in the game, you could do nothing with him, even though he played a huge role in Super Mario World in almost every way imaginable. So was this it? Well, no. According to some people on the internet, you can actually use Yoshi, and he has loads of abilities. So is any of this true? Can you ride around on Yoshi? Does he have special powers? And can he actually be used in different worlds? Well, let's find out. And believe me, the truth is surprising to say the least. Before the release of Super Mario 64, Nintendo was on top. Their previous console, the SNES, did very well, and Super Mario World was famous around the world. They were on top and king of the gaming world. Sure, there was some competition, but Nintendo was still the winner. And so everyone was excited for their next move, which was the Nintendo 64. And when it came out, they released a smash hit with it, Super Mario 64. A game that no one ever expected and got amazing reviews. Now sure, they didn't win the console wars because the PlayStation did a lot better compared to anything from Nintendo at the time. Well, except for their handheld consoles. But still, the Nintendo fans that did stick around were incredibly satisfied. However, after the amazing adventure of Super Mario World, there was one thing missing: Yoshi. People were surprised he wasn't in the game at all, because he played a massive role in the previous title. Thanks to him, you were able to reach secrets, gain and use new power-ups, and get to places Mario alone could never ever reach. But in Super Mario 64, he was only seen once you collected all 120 power stars. At that point, a cannon near the lake will open, and if you go inside of it, you will be able to shoot up to the castle roof, and up there are 3 1-ups and also Yoshi for some reason. But the only thing you can do with him is talk. And sure, he will give you 100 lives and a special message from the development team. But after that, he bails and isn't seen again. As you can imagine, this was disappointing for a lot of people, including me. After all that effort, you want more than a bunch of lives. And so people tried to find a way to do more with Yoshi. They wanted to use him in levels after all, and so they tried to figure out a way to ride on him, just like you could do in Super Mario World. So, is that possible? Can you actually use Yoshi in Super Mario 64? Well, let's look into some of the ways to unlock this feature that were posted online. As you can imagine, it all started with people collecting everything they needed for him to appear, and then trying to jump on top of him, just to see if it would work. But regardless of what they did, it was useless. That was not the way, and so players started to experiment more. Eventually, some people online claimed that you had to do something quite special to get your hands on Yoshi. When you talked to him, you had to skip the text until you reached the exact words, "Enjoy the Super Mario 64 team," which is one of the last things he will say to you. At that point, you had to turn the console off and turn it on again. And once you were in the game, a Yoshi egg could be found, and you were able to open it and ride Yoshi around the castle. As you can imagine, rumors like this kinda broke the internet. However, this turned out to be a cheap lie and nothing more. Doing this wouldn't really do anything at all. But there was another way of getting your hands on Yoshi. A cheating device like the Game Shark. I covered these things before in another video about the secret dungeon in Ocarina of Time, so I will keep it short. This was a line of video game cheat cartridges and other products that were made for a variety of console video game systems and Windows-based computers. Players would load cheat codes from Game Shark discs or cartridges onto the console's internal or external memory, so that when the game is loaded, the selected cheats are applied. And one of those those was known as riding Yoshi outside the castle, which allowed you to ride on top of Yoshi. Well, sort of. As you can see from the footage right here, it all looks a bit off. Like there's something wrong with it. And that's because this person isn't actually riding on top of Yoshi. He is on top of a green shell that has switched textures with Yoshi, and so it looks like him in a way. But in the end, this wasn't the real deal. Sure, it kind of worked, but it wasn't exactly what people wanted. However, as you can see, a device like a Game Shark can do some crazy stuff. But not enough to make the Yoshi dream a reality. So, is it even possible? Well, yes and no. Let me explain, because it is quite fascinating to say the least. Now, it took a while for technology to advance enough so that people could really do some deep digging. But at some point, they were able to explore the game's code, and hackers found something amazing inside. A fully textured Yoshi egg and appropriate hatching animation were actually in the game's files, along with a yellow exclamation mark switch, which needed to be pressed to unlock him. Well, that's what most people think at least. All of this suggests that Yoshi was at some point in development going to be rideable, just like we saw in Super Mario World. Now, we don't know exactly why he didn't make the cut, but it is speculated to have been due to time constraints, which does make sense because at first they wanted to add the horse Epona from the Legend of Zelda series to Super Mario 64. Now, I don't know exactly why they wanted to add a horse to a Super Mario game, even though Yoshi, existed, but hey, it was a thing. But in the end, that didn't happen, and all the work for it was moved to their next project, known as Ocarina of Time. I know it sounds weird, but it is 100% true. They even confirmed this in interviews. But in the end, we got neither. So was this the end of the dream? Well, no. Because modders made it a reality with very little effort because so many assets were already there. And so the famous Super Mario 64 modder known as Kaza was able to create a mod that allows you to use Yoshi, and you got all of his abilities. You can eat enemies and they turn into eggs. At that point, you can even throw them, just like we saw in Yoshi's Island. And of course, you can ride around on him and do some sweet platforming action. Heck, he even included the Flutterfly ability. So it is everything fans wanted and more. I put some information regarding it in the description if you want to give this mod a shot. Now, while you can't exactly ride on Yoshi in any Super Mario 64 copy without help, it is possible with some magic from the internet. However, this isn't the only rumor like this. There are many more out there, with some of them being 100% true. And at times, people make it a reality using all kinds of clever tactics like modding or creating entirely new ROM hacks, which I covered in a bunch of other videos that you can see on the screen right now. For example, how you can unlock Luigi in Super Mario Sunshine, and the one secret character you can unlock in Mario Kart. So be sure to check those out. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. It is very hot where I live, so I'm kind of dying. And my voice wasn't really that great for this video. I don't know if you could hear it, but golly, it was tough. Subscribe, click the bell button, like, tell me in the comments what I should do next. Do all the good things. Help Papa Wily, please.